Welcome to All Ears, the official podcast of the Cedar Rapids Kernels, presented by Miracle Ear. I'm your host and voice of the Kernels, Calvin Cristoforo. On the podcast, you'll hear from past and present Cedar Rapids baseball influencers, including players, managers, executives, insiders, and more.
Cedar Rapids Kernels, let the good times roll.
Welcome to another edition of the Kernels Offseason All Ear podcast, presented by our friends over at Miracle Ear. So happy you're with us. Very special guest today. I'm Calvin Cristoforo, joined by Cedar Rapids Kernel, Midwest League champion, and 2023 Cedar Rapids Baseball Hall of Fame inductee, the great Bengie Molina joins the podcast. Bengie, thanks so much for taking the time.
Hey, let me tell you what, we've been trying to make this happen for a while, man. I'm so excited to do it. I'm really excited to get this going, man. Thank you for having me in your show.
Well, I hope it's worth the wait. We have a lot to catch up to because you were actually in Cedar Rapids this past season, and you got to see a taste of the 2023 Midwest League Championship team. You were there because you were honored the newest member in the Cedar Rapids Baseball Hall of Fame. What was it like to receive an honor like that?
Wow, it was amazing. I wasn't expecting it, of course. It got me by surprise when I got the call, and it was just so cool to hear because Cedar Rapids was a really huge bridge for me. I got there as a translator. I got there as a third catcher in the bullpen, and before you know it, Tommy Lawless called me in the office and make me a number one catcher. We ended up winning the championship. It was the last championship until this year. You guys did it. It was amazing. So it was a huge bridge. Cedar Rapids will always have a very special place in my heart and forever too. So this is cool. It was cool.
How'd it feel to be back, at the ballpark? I'm sure it looked a lot different, the new stadium compared to the old stadium that you played in. What was it like to be back, kind of where it all started for you professionally?
Oh my gosh, it was so cool to be here. I'm sorry, my kiddo decided to start yelling, but I don't know. It was so cool to see. It was very different from everything. Like it was in the parking lot. They told me this is where the home plate was. This is the place where the stadium was. But I was very happy. I knew the last stadium was really old. So you guys needed a new one. I was really excited. It was really excited to see that you have better facilities for the players. The stadium looked amazing, man. I was pretty pumped.
And you mentioned your championship team in 1994, a 29-year drought for the Kernels that was flipped this year when the team got to hoist the Midwest League trophy once again. What do you remember about the end of that 1994 season? You got there in 94, you played a little bit at the start of 95 in Cedar Rapids, but what do you remember about that championship team that you got a ring with in 1994?
You know what? I remember when I got there, everybody was more like laid back, and they were more like, okay, we win, we lose, and we just go home and develop ourselves to A ball, the higher A and the double A or whatever it is in the minor league. So, well, when I got there, I started talking to the pitchers, and I started saying, man, we got to win today. We got to win this game. We need this game, and it became a thing. We got to win and win, and becomes in their mind, it was more about winning than showing up to the field, right? So we started winning games. The pitchers started throwing better. And before you know it, we were right there in the mix. So I remember a lot the change that we made. Obviously, from a catcher's standpoint, it's different because you see the pitchers every day. But I saw that. I saw the change on the guys coming in, having more fun. We were winning. We won a lot of games in a row at one point, and then all of a sudden we were there in the battle to get into the playoff to win the second half. And I remember when we won it. I don't remember much about how we felt during the playoff, but when that game was over at the end, I tell you, man, there was so much joy, we enjoyed. We had time to go and enjoyed, the whole season. For me, it was a half season, but the guys, how hard they battle, and we were able to win the Midwest League champ was something super super cool. So real for me, man. I tell you, super so real for me because I came from the extended spring to win a championship in Able. So it was pretty. I remember a lot of the faces. I remember a lot of my teammates being so happy and enjoying it. I didn't know we had a ring until next year when they gave us a ring, but I tell you what, man, it was so special.
And at just 19 years old, I mean, you go from extended spring training to a place in Iowa, which I assume you had never been before, maybe not even heard of before, and you're placed on this team. And hey, you're in the middle of things. Minor league is all about development, but while you're there, I mean, what's no hurt in winning too, right? When you're going through the system and you're putting your first affiliated team.
Well, winning makes every player better. It makes every player better because it means that the whole team is doing something right. And by you doing that, you're maturing in baseball. You're doing all the little things that they want you to do. You're probably having a good season, whatever league it is. But when you're winning, it shows you, and it can take care of you for the rest of your career. So it was good for me, but I know it was good for other of my teammates too.
Cedar Rapids Kernels, let the good times roll. Hey, Kernels. Hey, 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 Kernels.
Hearing is important to living life to the fullest. That's why inside every Miracle Ear store, you'll find better laughs at family barbecues. You'll find a better life is in store at Miracle Ear when you experience the Miracle Ear exclusive advantage. It starts with our free hearing assessment, plus innovative products that will fit your needs and budget. With free service and adjustments for life, call 319-243-7105 to schedule a free hearing evaluation and find a better life in store. Our local Miracle Ear team is proud to support the Cedar Rapids Kernels.
Group outings are a great way to unwind and enjoy a night out, and we invite you to reach out to our group sales staff and see all the options we have.
Everybody knows when you're at the game, the good times roll. Hey, hey, Kernels, let the good times roll. Cedar Rapids Kernels, let the good times roll.
Just 19 years old, a Midwest League champion, Bengie Molina. So happy we're getting the time to talk to the 2023 Cedar Rapids Baseball Hall of Famer here on the Kernels All Ear podcast, presented by Miracle Ear. You spent parts of 2 years in Cedar Rapids, and I'm sure, it might not be a crystal clear answer, but how much do you think your foundation with the Kernels really impacted your growth, as a ball player going up through the system?
I don't think anybody has an idea how much Cedar Rapids impacted me because, like I told you before, the extended spring is more like guys who are trying and getting their feet wet and prospects and things like that. Once you get to the Ables, it's a go, it's a go. And for me, I took it as a third catcher, I took it as a translator, but also if something happened, I was gonna be ready. I was gonna be ready, and something did happen. One of our catchers went down, and I was the second one after that. And I played a little bit. I started off really hot with the bat and catching good. Since I was in the bullpen a lot, I had a chance to talk to all the pitchers about pitching and what they like to do. So when I got out there, I wasn't surprised, right? It didn't get me by surprise. So um, I think I told you the Cedar Rapids was a big bridge for me to move on. Since we won that championship, it's what took me up. Like Able, I started playing number one, and then high A, and then double A. I had my year all by myself in double A, then the triple A levels, So if I don't go to Cedar Rapids and win a championship, my career probably different. So that's why I say that Cedar Rapids, it's a big bridge.
And you mentioned you got a little bit hot with the bat at the end of that 94 season, ended up hitting 281, 3 home runs, 16 RBIs that year with the Kernels and about 50 or so games with Cedar Rapids at the end. of that 1994 championship season, the last Midwest League championship for the Kernels before this 2023 championship win for the Kernels this past season. So
Wait, have you seen your ring?
I have seen it. It should be. I don't have it. I've seen it. There's going to be a ceremony. I think it's spring training. I know all the guys are looking forward to that. I would assume it's
That
going
is
to be
super cool.
a little bit bigger than the 1994 ring.
Yeah, it's gonna be way better than that one. Even though they both means the same, they both means that you won the championship and you had so many good friends out there to share that with. So I know it's gonna be super cool.
And you just started to mention your rise, from single A to high A to double A, triple A. In 1998, you make your major league debut with the Angels, the organization that you started with. What do you remember about that night, that major league debut for you?
It was crazy because I remember where I was. I was at the hotel room and in the middle of the night, I hear a bang on my door, right? Like a huge bang, and I was so afraid. I didn't even know who it was, so I just didn't answer it. All of a sudden, they bang again, and I didn't answer. So I hear Carney Lanford and Leon Durham. They say, "Hey, you freaking guy, open the freaking door. You're going to the big leagues, man. Don't you want to go?" So I opened the door real slow, I didn't want to get in trouble. So then I went to Texas, man, and it was crazy. I didn't know how to get to the field, what door to go into. But once I got in the clubhouse, there was very, very nice guys in there. Troy Percival was one of them. Mo Vaughn was can't remember if Mo was there already, but he was good, with me. Um, there was many veteran players that took care of me when I was there. And I went to the bullpen, cut some bullpens out there. So the 98 was super special just because that's the first time that you make it, right? So it was super special.
From going, you're thinking of getting in trouble to going to the big leagues. It's quite the transition
Uh,
in mindset.
Unreal.
And then
Unreal, man. It was so funny. Everybody makes fun of me afterwards, They were trying to say, "Hey man, didn't you want to go to the big league? What are you doing?" But it was because Carney was really strict and being on time and the curfew and all that stuff that we had before, that I was afraid that if I answer the door, he'll be asking, "Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing awake?" Or but anyway, he worked out very good. He told me I was going to the big league, so it was great.
And then once you get to the big leagues, 4 years later, you win the World Series. I mean, with the Angels, you won a obviously Midwest League championship with the Kernels, but there's nothing like winning the World Series, especially when you're behind the plate on that final out. I mean, what was that like? Winning the big one in the major leagues.
You know what? It's super special. Super special. I think winning the World Series, don't no matter where, doesn't matter how, doesn't matter where, it's special. But man, this time was really, really cool. Just knowing that my brother also was there right behind me. So, uh, and it's the only one. This is the thing. Like when you win the championship, people say, "Oh yeah, you guys over celebrate." It's not over celebrating. It's just that you don't know when you're gonna win another championship. So the same thing happened with the Cedar Rapids championship. We were all celebrating, going crazy, and people are like, "Oh, that's just one," and we were all looking at each other like, "How about if this the last one?" And it was until 29 years later.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's what makes it special. I think it's winning the the World Series in Anaheim, which they still haven't come close to winning anything after that. So it made it super extra special.
And you mentioned your brother. I was going to ask later, but I'll ask now. I mean, you're growing up in this family in Puerto Rico with three great major league catchers, you being one of them. I mean, what was it like just being in that environment with Jorge and Yadier growing up?
You know what? It was awesome. It was awesome growing up with them. I knew how talented they were. I wasn't that talented until I talked to my cousin Edgar Martinez and Carmelo Martinez, and they started telling me how strong I had to be to manage a bat, and try to make you as a good hitter. That's when I started become good. It was after 13 years old. But watching my brothers since 3 years old being studs, man, playing out there, hitting bombs, doing everything, like what a prospect or somebody that they're gonna make it. It wasn't like that with me. I had to really, really work my way up, work my after 13, after 14. It's when I really started seeing some change in me. But let me tell you, growing up with these two guys, man, being studs in every team they play, it was amazing. And we knew, and as a family, we knew that these guys have had a really, really, really good chance to make it to the big leagues.
And how much did you help them, and how much did they help you? I mean, on your journey growing up from when you were kids to even, later in your major league career.
Let me tell you, when I was growing up, I always took it to myself that to be a nice role model, not to do the wrong things because I knew they were coming right behind me. And if I do something wrong, I felt like they were going to do the same. So I took it upon myself to do the right thing and work out hard so they can see me and put it into themselves. But once we signed pro baseball, me and Jose signed the same year, and Yadi signed like in 2000. So 7 or 8 years later, Yadi signed. But while I was in the minor leagues, Jose was a huge help. He was like my manager. He was like my coach, teaching me. Remember, I was never a catcher until I turned to pro baseball. I played everywhere, any position. I finished the junior college shortstop and pitcher, but I played in the outfield before. But Jose and Yadi have always been catchers since little kids until they sign, and now they're still catchers. But not me. So they helped me out more than you think. They did. They did. Even Yadi, when he was young and I was in the minor leagues, he helped me because he always done it. He always done catching. So Jose and Yadi helped me a lot with the catching. And if I tell you, I honestly, if it wasn't for them two helping me out, man, I don't think I would have made it any kind of far.
What's the story about you transitioning to catcher? Is that something the Angels wanted you to do, or had that come about?
Well, Jose was having a tryout, and Jose was a tryout with the Angels at the time to see how far they draft him or if they were going to draft him, right? The draft was coming. So they had a special workout for Jose, and my mom was looking at the yearbook of junior college for me. And my mom went to the scout and said, "Hey, listen, this is my son, my son, my son," in Spanish. And the guy translated said, "Oh, she has another son." And then the guy said, but where is he?" And he goes, "Yeah, he's here. He's playing amateur ball and just came from college. Look at this is his resume: Rookie of the Year, MVP, everything like that." And so the guy is like, "Oh wow, okay, well, tell him I want to see him at 3 o'clock today." So my brother finished his workout and went straight to my apartment and, "Hey man, they're looking for a free agent. The Angels are looking for a free agent. Come on, come on, come on, let's go." I already threw my spikes up to the cable, electric cable, because we got eliminated that night before, and I was gonna go to Arizona and work and try to see if I can find my way to professional baseball that way, right? So, and we're in Puerto Rico. My brother's knocking at the door. Let's go. We gotta go. So I said, "I need your spikes, man. I need your spikes. I don't have any." And so we went to the stadium. I was warming up with Jose. I was warming up with my dad, and I was warming up with. I had two gloves, like infield pitcher, and I had the outfield glove. So the guy, I don't know what he saw. I don't know. Maybe it was sent from above. Like I always say, we were blessed. So he called me in and he said, "Here, are you ready to go?" I was like, "Yeah, let's go." And I thought I was gonna pitch. I thought I was gonna go short. I thought I was gonna go in the outfield. And he gave me a catcher's glove. He said, "Here, throw to second base. I want to see how you do." I was like, "Wow, catcher?" I look at my dad. My dad's like, "What? Are you afraid? You seen your brother catch? Come on, let's do it." And he kind of got me pumped up. And he said, "Well, you're a shortstop, so use your quick hands to go to second base." All right, let's try it. And I kept hearing this guy, scout, Ray Pointovich, in the back, and he kept saying 1.8, 1.9, 1.8, 1 point, and I didn't know what that was at the time. and I finished throwing, and he said, "Okay, I want to see you hitting." And I brought this big old bat from my cousins. It's so heavy. I said, "I want to hit bombs," so he get impressed. And it was nothing like it. It wasn't nothing a homers. It was all like hit and run, get him over, get him in, like situational hitting. And so I switched the bat and I started doing what he said. And he loved it, man. He told me, he said, "Man, you have a good bat control." And I after 14, I always been able to have a good seasons, and good hitting. So I went over and I said, "Hey, you want to see me run?" And he goes, "No, no, we don't need to see you running. I like it. Today's Saturday. On Monday, you're gonna have a contract in front of you. You need to sign it. On Tuesday, you're gonna fly to Arizona Mesa, and you're gonna be in the rookie ball." And I looked at him, "Hey, can you repeat that? Like, can you say that again?" "Yeah, you're a California Angels. Remember that California Angels,
Yep.
professional baseball player." And I said, "Wait, as a catcher?" And he goes, "Yep, you're a catcher now, buddy. So get ready." And wow, $1,000 later, here we go. Let's go Tuesday. Start fired up. Of course, I didn't have a good year in catching, good half a year in catching because I never caught. I was just learning. And here comes guys throwing 95. So they kind of hurt my thumb catching. So I only hit good. Then I went to Mexico League. I had more experience catching or hitting, and then the next year, obviously, this is when it happens. But it was um it was unreal. That's how my catching career started.
Wow. That's crazy how things happen for a reason like that. I'm curious
Oh
if your
yeah.
brother's cleats fit, or were you going through that tryout with cleats that didn't fit? After you threw your cleats on,
Oh, I
the
was
electrical
going.
wire.
Yeah, the his size was like a size and a half bigger. And let me tell you, I wasn't even thinking of that. I was just thinking of doing good in the trial so I can get my chance. But yeah, it was bigger shoes for sure.
That's crazy. And now, you're decked out in Cardinals gear for the people watching this on YouTube or wherever other visual platform you're watching this. You got to broadcast some of your brother's games through your work with the Cardinals, which is full circle in that aspect as well.
I love it, man. I love that. Last year, obviously, it was the first year Yadi didn't do it. So for 7 years, I've been doing Yadi's games and here in St. Louis. I think it's he retired, and I said, "You know what? This is my job. I love these, um, and this is my job. I think this is. I'm trying to say thank you to the Cardinals every time I do something for them because they took care of my brother. So now it's time for me to pay back and show them that thankfulness towards them. So this is working very good, man. 81 home games coming up this year too.
And when Yachty was with the Cardinals, I mean, there's no better guy to get insight on the pitching staff, on the clubhouse meetings than him. You call up your brother and you get immediate access to the clubhouse.
Yeah. You will be amazed how many times you can get away with saying that you're Yadi's brother.
Well,
So
St. Louis,
you, you
in
can
St.
you can
Louis,
even think.
they love Yachty Molina in St. Louis, and that'll never change.
Oh yeah.
Stay connected with the Cedar Rapids Kernels all year long by following the Kernels on social media. Catch up with the Kernels on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at CR Kernel.
To Bengie Molina, 1994 Cedar Rapids Kernels Midwest League champion, 2023 Midwest League Baseball or Cedar Rapids Baseball Hall of Famer here on the Kernels All Year podcast presented by Miracle. I want to ask you about your last season in 2010. You start the year with the Giants, you finish with the Rangers. That's the matchup in the World Series. It's your last year at age 35. I mean, what kind of whirlwind was that to be traded from one World Series contender to another in the same season?
It was weird, very weird. When I got traded, I was on the way to Colorado, and but it was super weird, super weird. I got on off the bus, and actually on the plane, and they told me I was traded to Texas. The last things I heard about it was that the Rangers kept calling every day, every day, every day, every day. They wanted me, and the Giants knew that they had Buster Posey, so coming up. So they were not gonna trade me. They were not gonna trade me. The reason they did was because these guys kept calling and calling, and they need me, so they did it, right? It is super weird. I say goodbye to the guys on the bus. There was a few that were crying because we were kind of like a family up by now, so they were all crying on the bus. I was like, it's okay, man, maybe we can hook up in the World Series. Who knows? And here we are in the World Series, and it's happening. Oh my gosh! But it was super weird to pitch against your former teammates. You don't even keep track on them. You just want them to do good when you're playing with them. You don't know their numbers or what they hit or what they don't. Here I am facing those guys. It got so weird, Calvin, that when they won, I was in the dugout in the Texas Rangers, and I didn't know if I should have gone out there and celebrate. And it got so weird that when they won, they went to the clubhouse, my clubhouse in the Rangers, looked for me, got me out, and got me champagne all over me.
Wow.
That's how kind of weird it was. Mike Kane, Baumgartner, Jonathan Sanchez, Tim Lincecum, Buster Posey, all those guys, and many more were there just jumping with me and like I was part of them. So it was super cool.
So you must have gotten another World Series ring from the Giants after that year too, right?
Yeah, yeah, I got the one for the American League, and
Yep.
I got the one for the Giants winning it. It's pretty cool.
You played 57 games for the Rangers at the end of that season, but I'm really curious about one night at Fenway Park when 35-year-old Bengie Molina hits for the cycle. Did you ever think that was ever going to happen in your big league career? And did you ever think it was going to happen at age 35 in your big league career?
Let me tell you, I had a -1% that was gonna happen. Not even a 1%.
Minus
So
1%.
I got a base. Yeah, I got a base hit. Then I had the double. Then I hit a grand slam to put the team ahead. And I'm like, triple? Like, it only can happen one way. If it hits a guy or they dive for the ball and the ball goes all the way to the corner, I might make it to third. But that's what happened though. He went for the ball, he hit the glove, and he went to the corner. Everybody's yelling, "Go, go, go!" And I'm like, I only have one speed, bro. I only have one speed. I don't have two, three, four. I have one. So I just put it on drive, all drive, and here we go. Come on. And I made it. But it was super special. It was super special. The fact that I got to see my friends in the dugout, looking at me, smiling, having fun with me. And at the same time, think of this. Willie Mays had 7 tools. He was a 7-tool player and a Hall of Fame in one of our best of all their career of baseball. And he never had one. And
Wow.
here it is, Bengie Molina with one half a tool in his bag, and he gets a cycle. It was super special, man. I tell you, it's probably one of the biggest accomplishment that my career had.
Do you remember how many triples you had in your entire career?
Oh well, my guess would be like 6-2 in the playoff. I
Six?
think that's my guess would be.
Six is right in the regular season. In regular season, you had six. I don't
Yeah,
have the playoff numbers up, but six is right in the regular season, and one of them just happened to come after a home run, double, and single to complete a
but
cycle.
wait, I I had many chances to go. And when I went up to the big leagues in 2000, Sosha kind of told me, like, hey, if you go to second base and you think it's gonna be a tight play at third, don't risk it. Don't risk any injury. If you know that you have it for sure, go for it. But sure enough, I mean, I have many chances to do it, but I never thought about it. I always thought about being safe, right?
Yep.
So, I knew I had six for sure. I think I had one, maybe two in playoffs. So 6-2, I always say.
And the one to complete the cycle at Fenway. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you this last question. I'm just generally curious. You go to Bengie Molina on Baseball Reference, which I'm sure a bunch of you have done during this podcast. You see under nickname, Big Money is your nickname. Is that true, first of all? And second of all, where and how did you acquire that nickname?
Oh, well, when I started in San Francisco, I was their best players for 3 years, even though those 3 years were my worst, right? We lost a lot of games and it wasn't the best years to count for. I played behind Barry Bonds 07. They walk him a lot. They walk to get to me. Obviously, it's way different. But I was a good hitter on the clutch, so I had a lot of RBIs all 3 years. I almost hit 300, 280, 300. I almost got from 15 to 20 home runs. So the first year after Barry got so many walks, man, they started calling me Big Money over there because I got the RBIs and I got a clutch hitter. So that's when it started, like around 07. And it stuck, it stuck from there. And everybody, remember that nickname, Big Money.
Well, Big Money, I appreciate your time. I'm so happy we got the time to do this and chat here on the Kernels All Ear podcast presented by Miracle Ear. Bengie Molina, thanks so much for sitting down and chatting with us.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for having me in the show. Make sure you say hi to Scott. Make sure you say hi to Rody. He's a big part of that championship too. And we love him, and make sure you say hi to those guys. You take care. Thank you for having me in your show. It's always a pleasure, man.
Thanks so much. Good luck with your 81 games this season coming to Busch Stadium.
I know, yeah. We'll see what happens with the Cardinals. So we'll see what happens, and we're pretty excited about it. We'll see at spring training and see how the guys and the team plays. It'll be super exciting.
It'll be a fun baseball season in 2024. We hope to see you at Veterans Memorial Stadium. This was another edition of the Cedar Rapids Kernels All Ear podcast presented by Miracle Ear.
Choosing Miracle Ear was a great decision. Like when I decided to host family movie nights. Miracle Ear made it easy. I just booked an appointment, and a certified hearing care professional evaluated my hearing loss and helped me find the right device calibrated to my unique hearing needs. Now I enjoy every moment. The quiet ones and the loud ones.
Your local Miracle Ear team is proud to support your Cedar Rapids Kernels. Enjoy the game.